Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez.
Apparently some new evidence has come out, and people think that Tory Lanez should be freed. Now listen, I did the Diddy stuff last night.
You did the Diddy stuff?
Take that. Baby, tell me if you like it. All right. Research.
Hey, yo!
Research for the project. With this one here, I decided to take a look at the evidence. So I stayed up all night just reading up on everything. So they have a website. It's called 36 something. It's what Tory Lanez's team released. Tory Lanez charged with 3 crimes. I think one of them involves a weapons charge, discharging a weapon recklessly. Essentially, he was accused of firing a weapon and hit Megan in the foot. Megan Thee Stallion, who's a famous artist. They pressed charges, sent him to jail. There's a lot of controversy involved because some people believe that Tory's innocent. He's being railroaded for a variety of reasons. But regardless, he was convicted. He's got 10 years in prison to do. At this point, Tory Lanez has already filed a few appeals. Every one of them has been rejected. Now they come out with this website just last week. Everyone's covering it because they feel like this evidence may exonerate him or at the very least merit a new trial. Guys, this is going to be a bit boring. The reason why is they're counting on you guys. No, I'm just gonna be honest. They're counting on you guys to not look into the details. And they're counting on you guys to never pay attention or to do any research. That's what they're counting on. Actually, I'll put a link in the description below. If you want, there's a website that actually compiled every single exhibit from the trial. We'll go through the big claims. Just a couple things I need to get out of the way really early on. From my reading, nothing that's been presented so far is new. Not a thing. I know people claim it is, bombshell, recordings, all this stuff. Either has been presented in trial or it's been presented on appeal. I think there's 3 things that are being alleged in Tory Lanez's website that I think are key. 1, Megan was never shot by any bullet fragments. 2, key evidence has gone missing. And 3, if she was shot, the person who did it was likely Kelsey. Was Megan Thee Stallion shot? That's the big question that a lot of people are asking. Even during the trial in 2022, Tory's defense team never made the claim that she was not shot. All they alleged during that trial was that Kelsey was the shooter, not Tory Lanez. It is only 3 years later, now that they're releasing this new information to the public, that they're now claiming Megan was not shot. A lot of people believe that she was never shot, and it's for a variety of reasons. But the 3 main things that I've seen so far is that Megan lied, and she said at first that...
So how did that happen to you? Glass? Where?
People were like, whoa, and they saw the body count, like, oh, she's lying. Okay, this part of the evidence I don't give a shit about. And the reason why is when someone gets shot, I don't care what they claim or what anyone else claims. I want to see medical reports. I want to see where the bullet fragments are. I want to see everything. That's the only thing that matters. Because I could shoot you right now. You could claim you didn't get shot. It doesn't change the fact that you got shot. So the only thing that matters to me in this case is their medical report. So I decided to take a look, and Tory's team did cover this. I look into this, and what do I find? 3 surgeons performed surgery on both her feet and removed 3 bullet fragments. One of them ended up testifying in the court case and then provided paperwork so that everyone could see what had happened and what had been recovered. So I see this, I'm like, okay, this looks like an open and shut case. Not for Tory's team. They put up this graph, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm not even going to tell you what they said. You're going to just read it. They have this slide here with the image of 3 different doctors, and this is what they say. They go, despite these conflicting reports, 24, 25, 26, none of these doctors were called to testify to court. What's going on? So the first doctor described injuries on Megan Thee Stallion as lacerations from broken glass. There is no mention of gunshot wounds, fragments, or ballistic trauma. He also described Megan as pleasant in no acute distress. You can't really see the medical report, okay? Because I don't know why, but when you go on the image, it's too small. So they don't let you actually see it. If you zoom far enough, you can actually read it. And this is just the ER doctor. So he's the one who first assesses Megan when she comes in. And I think what they're trying to allege with this image is that there's no mention of gunshot wounds. And they think, I guess, that is a smoking gun of some sort or something to be careful of. What they omit in this is that she was hit by ricochet. And what ricochet does is it impacts the bullet to such a severe degree that when it penetrates, sometimes it can look like lacerations because of its jagged edges. So what may have looked like lacerations to him may have been very well bullet fragments that he just couldn't see. Again, when you come into the ER, they're not doing every test off the top. If they think that something's wrong, they send you to a different doctor, which is what happened. Because if you look at the dates, what's the date here?
July 12th, 2020.
Okay, the next doctor saw her when?
July 12th, 2020.
Okay, so now the second doctor comes in. Who is this? Milton Little. He's the orthopedic surgeon. She was shot in the foot. Now the surgeon comes in. What does he say? Diagnosed with bilateral gunshot wounds based on imaging. He removed 3 small fragments under general anesthesia and called the wounds superficial. They put the quotation marks. Yet performed surgery. Claimed fragments were bagged and given to police. So the way that they're framing this is that he performed surgery on gunshot wounds that were superficial. So I guess they're trying to say it's kind of odd that he claims these wounds are superficial, but they performed surgery, not realizing it's not abnormal for doctors to perform surgery on superficial wounds. Sometimes they need closing, sometimes they need specific treatment, especially if there's things that they need to go surgically remove. They'll still perform a small surgery, which is what they did for Megan. Then we have the third doctor, Anna Howell. When did she see the patient?
July 13, 2020.
Which is the day after. Now what she says, she described the wounds as superficial and cleanly closed. X-ray showed no fractures, minimal residual shrapnel. Dr. Howell treated for cellulitis, which is an infection, discharged without mention of ballistic trauma. So they look at these 3 reports and essentially they say, look at these guys. This is suspicious, isn't it? You got 3 doctors who saw her. Most of them don't mention any kind of ballistic wounds. It's inconsistent and they didn't testify.
No, it's not.
Go ahead.
That's not how nothing this works. Like you said, the first one saw it. It'd be like, well, what I see under surface is that. That's no test, no echo, no x-rays, no nothing. Just based on what you see. You have to understand that doctors, they treat symptoms. He's going to ask the person, what happened? Oh, it's glass. He's going to look at the foot and be like, okay, well, there is lacerations. So they're telling me they stepped on glass. It's glass. Next doctor, x-rays. Ooh, what is that? No, you have some glass in there. Well, it's not glass because we would see through it. It's more opaque. It's weird. Let me just go. We're going to have to operate to remove that because we don't want any more lacerations on the muscle tissues or nerves or anything like that. Open up. Boom. It's not glass. It's sharpnel. Dude's going to be like, I removed some fragments. Bop, bop, bop. Close it up. This and that. The next day, another doctor is going to come to be able to do like a follow-up on what happened on the surgery. I've been in the hospital too much.
When I saw this, I was really confused because you can tell by the way they're framing the whole image that they're trying to allude to some kind of medical malpractice. Turns out they got exhibits from the court case that you can see, okay? Tell me what this is.
This is a foot. With
Megan's foot.
With a fragment in it.
So this is the next page, okay? They go forensic red flags and medical doubt. I'm watching how they're framing the page. And they go key medical findings. They go radiology report. No radiopac foreign bodies, no bullet fragments clearly visible on X-ray 27. And then they put this little excerpt of a text of imaging. So I get confused when I read this, right? Because I'm like, well, which x-ray are they talking about? Is this the x-ray that was done after surgery or before? If you don't know what radiopac means, it means that metal stuff, it shows up on an x-ray. So they're trying to claim there was nothing on the x-ray that looks like bullet fragments. So I'm confused because I can see the x-ray of her foot. It's clear that she's got bullet fragments. So which x-ray are they referencing? They don't make it clear. Why do I think they're doing this? I think they're referencing the x-ray that happened the next day where the bullet fragments were removed. Because if you look at that one, that x-ray is not going to show because they already did surgery. It's gone. Much of evidence was never presented at trial. Tory Lanez's original trial counsel joined the case late, limiting the defense's ability to investigate these medical inconsistencies. What they're essentially alluding to is that Megan was never shot. Cool. How do you explain 3 surgeons doing surgery on her and saying that they removed bullet fragments? Are you saying surgeons making $500,000 a year who spent their whole life in medical school and now this is their full-time career are out here lying and conspiring, all 3 of them, okay, against Tory Lanez, that they're faking bullet fragments that they removed from Megan and then handing it to the LAPD? Is that your claim? Because if it is, that's fine. Where's the evidence? Not a single ounce is provided in here. And these doctors, they put their names on the medical report. You can read it. If a doctor makes this up, as these guys are trying to allege, you have to understand the medical malpractice lawsuit that they could be looking at, the potential jail time, the loss of their license. They're looking at millions and millions of dollars worth of losses. They never brought this up on appeal. Want to know why? Because any judge would laugh this off their fucking docket. If you thought this was medical malpractice, that's a big deal. Bring that evidence in front of a judge. But let's look at the next big claim, okay? Was evidence fabricated or disappeared against Tory Lanez? There's a claim that says it right here, fragments went missing. So I look into this claim, and essentially what they're alleging is that an LAPD officer in a preliminary hearing said that we don't know where the fragments are. They have the transcripts here. It's a very short excerpt. They don't include everything, but they have it here. You can just see it's 3 lines. They go, now the bullet fragments which were allegedly removed from Megan's ankle, they can be located, correct? Correct. That's what the detective says. They can't find the bullet fragments. The detective says like he can't locate them. Okay. Did you ask him they can with some time or why it is? I don't see that anywhere. Property officer to say, hey, one of your detectives says you can't find key evidence. Where's that? I'm looking for anything that would serve as follow-up to show me that there's malpractice or there's something suspicious. They don't do anything. If they didn't bring it up at trial, when did they bring it up? They bring it up on appeal. I go find the document, and this is what he says. Therefore, petitioner does not have access to the firearm to conduct his own fingerprint and DNA analysis. Right now, he's petitioning to say like, hey, I deserve a new trial because I can't get access to this firearm or the bullet fragments because the LAPD lost it. That's what he's saying. That's what Tory Lanez's team is saying. Likewise, the bullet fragments were not produced as evidence and cannot be located as they were not preserved. So I'm like, whoa, that's huge. And another part of this exact same appeal, he goes, petitioner cannot file any claim of innocence as he's unable to conduct further testing since the firearm and bullet fragments are missing. Now, this was sent to the Attorney General of California when they went on this appeal. They're saying, yo, there's some malpractice. LAPD is not keeping charge of this stuff. How can I prove my innocence when key evidence has gone missing? The LAPD responds, I, Martin Preciado, do hereby declare as follows. I am a senior property officer at the Los Angeles Department Evidence and Property Management Division. In that capacity, I have received a request from Detective Abehart for property booked in connection with a case that relates to Daystar Peterson, which is Tory Lanez. As a result of the request on October 30th, 2024, Information Management System, that query showed that Evidence and Property Management Division has the firearm magazine, and all the bullet casings and all the bullet fragments that were booked under this case number are still in Los Angeles Police Department custody. So the Attorney General responds to the appeal and he says, petitioner fails to provide reasonable, available documentary evidence to support his factual assertions. His failure to do so is especially troubling because his factual assertion that the firearm, the casing, the bullets, and the fragments are missing is contradicted by what the attached declaration from Martin says, which averts that his query of the computer system for the LAPD shows that the LAPD still has custody of the firearm magazine, as well as the casings. So the Attorney General's like, get this shit out of my face. They say they still got it, so what are you yapping about?
What'd they say?
They say they still got it. 3 years later, now Tory Lanez's team is coming out and trying to claim that there's something suspicious that happened with the firearm or with the bullet fragments. But it's weird because during the trial, their own DNA expert was able to test the firearm and exclude Tory Lanez's DNA from the magazine itself.
When you're talking about Tory Lanez's team, who is it? This is not the Tories. That's some people he runs with.
I don't know.
Cause it don't look very.
This is what everyone's talking about.
Tory-ish. I understand what you're saying that everybody's talking about. I heard it too. But who is this team that's putting this website together?
I mean, a team is not always attorneys. It could be PR people. It could be bloggers you hire. It could be all kinds of people.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Gotcha.
I think the last question is, if you guys believe that Megan was shot, and then if you do believe that the evidence shows that there was a shooting in place, to whom does the evidence point to as the shooter? And this is where I think the Tory Lanez defense is probably its strongest. Is Megan Thee Stallion a credible witness? No. Is she a credible victim? No. Is Kelsey Harris, who's the other person involved in this trio, credible? No. Problem is, Tory Lanez also lied. At some points, he claimed that Kelsey Harris, had never shot Megan. On trial, his lawyer said Kelsey Harris is the only person who could have shot Megan. Someone said people saying Kelsey shot her. Tory Lanez replies, that's not true. Best believe this exhibit showed up in court.
That's crazy.
If you're accused of a crime, stay off your phone, stay off social media. All of these people are liars. So then you have to look at all the evidence around it and say, what does the circumstantial evidence point to? I went through all the witness testimony. I went through the stuff that Tory Lanez's team posted. I went through whatever Megan posted, and then I went through court documents. Based on all the testimony provided by the defense and the prosecution, only 2 people could have been near the gun or could have been the potential shooters. Even the new statements made by some of the witnesses that Tory has put forth post-trial, even they assert that only 2 people were near the gun when they were going off. And the 2 people are Tory Lanez and Kelsey Harris. This is not my opinion. This is what they're all saying, including the evidence, right? Because if you look, GSR, those two are the only ones who have it. That means GSR's, I think, gunshot residue.
Yeah.
It's short range. You have to be fairly close to the firearm, essentially, to be able to say that that was on you. A lot of Tory Lanez's new buzz is coming around the fact that he's bringing his security guard, who was the driver, the fourth person involved in this altercation, as a potential witness going forward. And in his testimony, he says, I saw Tory Lanez tussling with Kelsey Harris for the firearm. So even this new person that they've put forth for this case is also putting him beside the firearm. So let's just establish all the facts in regards to who's actually by the gun based off what everyone's saying. Then we look at the rest of the testimony and then we try to see who it points to. So let's start with the witness testimony from someone who has nothing to do with either party and the supposed bombshell witness Tory Lanez's team is now talking about a lot. His name is Sean Kelly. There's a recording that the team plays. I'm going to play the recording as they have it. All right. And here we go. This is a testimony. He witnessed the shooting between Megan, Kelsey, and Tory. And this is what he said right after the shooting happened. Okay.
Then the gun, then the girl shoots it. So the driver's door's open.
So you see the girl doing the shooting?
I see what appears to be the girl standing here and shooting into the car. That's what it looked like to me. But it was dark and I'm above, so, but then the guy gets out again from the back.
Okay. Cuts right there. So we don't know what the fuck he says afterwards, but apparently this is the recording that says, see, the witness says that Kelsey shot, or the woman in this case, shot Megan.
Yeah, but he's also said that it was dark. And he said, and then the guy got out and it cuts there.
Right.
So give me more context.
A lot of people claim that this audio that this man all said, like, oh, you know, the woman shot or whatever, said that this never came out at trial. That's not true. If you guys go to this website and you look at the exhibits, this thing is listed there and it's been there for years. All of these things were exhibits at the trial. And I believe that audio was exhibit 12. So again, go look at the link, do your own research. This is a guy who was called by the defense as a witness, Sean Kelly. Did this come out at trial? Sure enough, this was available at the trial as one of the many exhibits. This is where shit gets crazy. Tory Lanez calls this man onto the stand as a witness. And on the witness stand, this man, Sean Kelly, identifies Tory Lanez as the shooter.
Crazy.
So they end up fucking themselves by bringing this man on board. So this new bombshell witness that everyone's mentioning is actually one of the prime reasons why Tory Lanez was ended up found guilty. Because what did he say when he got on the stand? He says, he was firing everywhere, but that the flashes he saw originated with a woman. Okay, here we go. Megan Thee Stallion, which is Tory's lawyer, asks Kelly, sir, did you see the shorter guy with the gun in his hand? And Kelly says, yes. And then the prosecutor, who gets to go on redirect, says, how many shots did you see the short guy shoot when you said he was firing everywhere? And Kelly says 4 or 5 shots. Why is this important? Because based off the recordings of all the surrounding places, there was only 5 shots that were made.
Street TV.
So according to the star witness for the defense, he claims that Tory Lanez shot 4 or 5 times. This is the same man that everyone's playing the recording of. Okay, so the prosecutor keeps talking to Kelly and he goes, do you recall telling the DA investigator that after the short guy shot the girl fell onto the middle of the road and you could see she was bleeding? Answer, yes, she was bleeding. Question. All right. So the short guy had his arms outstretched. He fired 4 or 5 shots. Afterwards, the girl fell onto the floor and started bleeding. Answer, yes, she was crawling and stumbling across the road. All right. Now, you testified earlier this morning that when the short guy was shooting at the victim, you saw that there was an object in his hand. Is that correct? Yeah. It was obviously something in his hand with the noise and the flashes. And when that object was in his hands, were his arms outstretched? Yes. We go to the next thing. Jaquan Smith, who is the bodyguard, he's the person who signed a witness statement and is basically saying, hey man, Tory Lanez wasn't the shooter. Again, he is Tory Lanez's bodyguard, but whatever. The question is raised, why wasn't this guy testifying on behalf of Tory during the trial? Here's what he claims in his affidavit, all right? I wanted to present this evidence during Mr. Peterson's trial, but was prevented from doing so as a district attorney was not ready to cross-examine me, and later, they did not call me due to the holidays and the court schedule. I believe I should have been allowed to present this evidence at trial. he claims that because they weren't ready to cross-examine him,
Yeah, and it was the
prosecution comes back, it's like, you were unreachable. We tried to reach you so many times and you were hiding. In fact, since the shootings happened, nobody's seen this guy come out publicly, even after the fact. Basically, what the DA said is like, you guys want to put him on the witness list, that's fine, but before you call him, we need some time, so I need a continuance. A continuance is when you extend court by a little bit of time so you have time to talk to the person, do whatever research you need, whatever, okay? Tory Lanez' team says, no continuance, we want the trial to just proceed. And I was like, well, there's no way that's real. And sure enough, I go to read it. This is from Tory Lanez' lawyer. I just want to highlight to the court, Your Honor. On top of that, that's partially why we want Jaquan Smith. He was present at the location, but even without Jaquan Smith, I think Mr. Sean Kelly's testimony and the GSR on Miss Harris' handgun that was done by the LEPD is sufficient evidence for a third-party culpability. So I'm reading this, and I'm like, oh, because Tory didn't want this trial to go any longer, he said, fuck it, I don't need this witness. Nigga, it's your fault. I'm sorry. If he's not in the original court case, it's only because Tory's team decided not to put him there. And I don't know about y'all, but if I got a star witness, I would extend court as long as possible to make sure they get to testify. So what does that tell me? Probably not that important. Unless you guys can give me a better reason for why you don't get your star witness on the stand because you don't want to wait a week. Whoa. Your freedom is on the line. You're risking more than a decade in jail, and you're rushing the trial.
You don't trust him. That's the reason you don't trust him. He's just not gonna be good. I don't trust him to be on that stand and not fuck this shit up. So I don't want him to testify.
Yes.
By cross-examination, they're gonna find out that he's lying.
So then we go to the next person. This is the new witness that a lot of people say it's a bit of a bombshell. His name is Brandley James, worked for security for Harris, the other suspect. So that's Kelsey Harris. He was not present at the crime scene. He claims that sometime after the incident, he overheard Harris say that she shot twice and that in a struggle with Tory, 3 more shots rang out. Folks think this is a big deal because it corroborates the pace of the shots that were heard in video recordings of the incident. So they're like, whoa, this is crazy. The thing is, he only made this claim 2 years after the trial ended. And there's no evidence to support the fact that he heard this. And thirdly, it would be considered hearsay. I get that people think this is a big deal. That's fine. But in the court of law, this kind of statement in a lot of places would not be admissible. And even if it was, it really doesn't weigh that much because it's like, bro, you waited multiple years after this whole thing to say this, that you overheard a conversation. That's not going to cut it. They got Tory apologizing post-incident on 2 different calls. On one call to Kelsey and then a text message to Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, but he was texting, he was apologizing for what happened, not what happened.
Because we'll play the recordings, we're going to listen to it together, and I want you guys to tell me how this works, okay? So let's take a listen. He's calling from jail. He knows it's recording because it always says it's recording.
This is a free call from
Tory?
an inmate at LAPD jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Hello?
Hey.
Y'all got out safe and everything. You said what?
You're listening to Street
I
TV.
said Megan's in the hospital still. I'm outside the hospital waiting.
What hospital?
Now keep in mind, this is the woman that Tory was allegedly sleeping with, and he was also sleeping with her best friend, Megan Thee Stallion. Keep in mind, Megan Thee Stallion knew that him and Kelsey were involved to some degree, but she never told her that her and Tory were involved. So they're alleging that this is some kind of love triangle, and that's what started everything. He's calling her. Don't forget that on the defense stand, while these guys were on trial, they were alleging that she shot Megan the whole time. It wasn't Tory. So now he's calling the very person that he alleges shot Megan. Listen.
Where are you at?
I don't know. Feeder, something like that. Feeder.
You know, bro.
Sure.
Regardless, I know she probably never ever gonna talk to me ever again, but, bruh, I just want you to know, bruh. Nigga, I was just so fucking drunk, nigga. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on, bro. That ass. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on, bro. Like, that ass. I'd never do some shit like that, bro. Just that, nigga, I was just so fucking drunk, nigga. I just didn't even understand what the fuck was going on, bro. Like, so, whatever, bro. But, you know, regardless, that's not gonna make anything right. And that's not gonna make my actions right, bro. But I'm just deeply sorry, bro. I never even moved like that, bro. Like, Never moved like that at all, bro. Like, for real, dog.
Okay, so I want you guys to just think about what is it in this call. Keep in mind, she's apparently fucking with this guy. She's being messy. He's being messy. She grabs a gun and shoots Megan, and she has to go to jail. She grabs a gun, she shoots Megan, and Tory's the one in jail. He calls her from jail, and he's the only one apologizing. He's the only one. She don't feel bad. Supposedly, she shot Megan. She's chilling. And this dude is like on the verge of crying. He said, I couldn't believe I did that. If it was just cheating, why didn't you ever mention it in the call? If it was just you fucking around with your dick, it just sounded like you was avoiding having to say what had actually happened because you know it was being recorded. But cheating is not a crime.
No. And she's outside the hospital to make it of the person she shot. Like, so she's gonna visit the person she shot. Hey, sorry about yesterday, but Tori's in. They were sleeping together. Kelsey and Tory.
It's alleged that they were involved. That's what pretty much is like a thing.
Because it's crazy to sleep with someone and call her bruh.
Okay.
Yeah, that ass, bruh. Who?
Nah, you want to hear the
Whose brother are you?
Okay. We gonna have a little bit of fun. So I'm reading the transcripts of their conversation in the car because Kelsey 2 months afterwards testified in front of the prosecutor. So she's talking, and this nigga he's lit. Okay, he's in the backseat. He's mad. Why? Because they were at Kylie Jenner's place, and basically Megan got mad because this nigga wanted to stay at Kylie Jenner's place because he was trying to fuck her. Okay, so Megan comes in and Cox blocks him. So they get back in the vehicle, they start driving off, and they start arguing. And he's like, bitch, yo, your wet ass pussy ain't wet. And he's just saying all kinds of crazy things considering her single. That's wild. Now, this is where it gets crazy. Megan's like, hey man, you ain't shit. You short too. She said some crazy shit. And then this nigga goes, yo, I should shoot you, bitch. According to Kelsey. And Kelsey said, and then they all, what'd you say? He looks at Kelsey in the back seat, because they're both in the back seat. Megan's in the passenger seat. The driver's there, the bodyguard. And he goes, I'm from Canada. and because I guess he was insinuating that they're like gangsters or something. I don't know. He said, I'm from Canada, my nigga. Do you know? And she's like, okay, and my nigga, I'll shoot you. And I'm like, what in maple syrup? These niggas need to chill. So I was so confused by, he really was like, Canada. It don't really make sense to me. I ended up going to look at the text messages he sent to Megan. It had the same energy. So it's like, how is the one man who didn't shoot nobody, who ended up in jail, the only one who feels sorry and doesn't feel begrieved by nobody involved? That don't make sense. And you might want to believe it's about the cheating or whatever it is, but I genuinely think the only way you truly believe that is if you're biased. Within 5 minutes of when the shooting happened, she texted her bodyguard, help, Tory shot Meg. 5 minutes of the shooting. Now we go to the gun. And I think this is also a place where Tory's got a bit of a case, because when they did the testing, they had Tory Lanez' DNA expert in the state. And surprisingly, both of them came to the same conclusions when they tested the gun. 1, when they tested the magazine, Tory Lanez' DNA was not on the magazine. 2, GSR was found both on Kelsey Harris and Tory Lanez. 3, and I think this is the part that fucks him a little bit, Tory Lanez' DNA wasn't conclusive for being on the gun, but 90% of the DNA they recovered from the gun itself is male. Why is this important? Only 2 people are alleged to have held onto that gun before the shooting. 1 is a female, 1 is a male. 90% of the DNA that is on the gun itself belongs to a male. Both the defense and the prosecution's DNA expert said they can't exclude or include Tory Lanez' DNA. It is inconclusive. That means that a woman didn't fire the gun like they're claiming. Again, this is just another thing. It's not a smoking gun because, again, it's not his DNA. But what it does show is it points to him. Another thing that counts against him. When the police came by and they located the firearm, where did they find it? They find it right where Tory Lanez himself claimed he was sitting. I get that people are big fans of his. I get that people think he was railroaded or whatever. But I'm being honest with you. If you objectively just look at the evidence presented, right? You look at how the defense team is not presenting this website and how dishonest the medical reports is. It's just like, I can't take it seriously. But yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah, you asked me what I thought about it, and I told you that I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Because cross-reference, it's like, I'm looking at their facts, they could be lying. You have to cross-reference what happened in court, and you're like, were people possible, not likely. That many people, why would they want him inside? It spikes a lot more questions that I have. And my fair answer, my honest answer that I can give you after what I saw is, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think you, like many other people, don't know because you just didn't research it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to.
You're rehashing something that was already like a case closed, but let's see what you found.
No, go through all your thoughts.
That's pretty much what I have. I don't understand like the. I feel like what they brought so far is not like a. Oh my God, I could see it now. He should be freed. I'm still on the original stance. Like, I want to believe what you're saying because you sound so convincing. But from what I've seen, it's a no for me. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't researched this thing enough. But I'm like, you guys didn't put out anything that was not said or not reviewed before or not. But I'm willing to listen. You're more patient than I am.
Go for it.
Because the minute that I read that nothing new was...
And they painted it that way, didn't they?
What?
That it was new shit.
Yes, that's what they've been saying. There's a girl, a governor or whatever from California that's saying that, this new evidence is gonna... And it's not new. There's nothing new.
Yeah.
Like, the minute I understood and I read that it was nothing new, I'm saying, so I'm about to read a trial that was already trialed.
Yup.
I got my high school diploma, and I'm gonna be able to debunk what they did in court. No. Anyways, people are gonna try to debate. I think they really try to push the reason. You're saying no, but I think they try to put a doubt, and that people, people start a bandwagon, and then there's pressure, and then there be able to run that shit back. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna.
Hey man, listen, get yourself a Trump hat, pray. You know what I mean? Do whatever you gotta do. But for all the people watching. You know what I'm saying? Abba, you're biased or whatever. Don't listen to me, bro. I'll put the links in the description. You can go read the affidavits. You can go read the exhibits. You can go read the witness testimony. No, it's just like people keep bringing it up. And like even people I know, I was like, God, y'all got to read up on this shit. Because a lot of people on YouTube just be yapping and not knowing any of the details. I had to watch Flacco and a bunch of other fucking dumb YouTubers cover this shit, and they were saying this Megan lied when she talked to the police. Yes, they covered that in court. She lied because she's claimed she was covered for him. What does the medical report say? I think you motherfuckers want Tory to be innocent. Me personally, I don't listen to Megan. I don't listen to this motherfucker. So I don't care if they stay in jail. Free Kelly though. I'm just joking. Don't. He's on camera peeing on people. Megan's biggest mistake was trying to protect a man who shot at her. And after the fact, people are now still shaming her for not standing with the man who shot at her. You can feel however you want about it, but I'm so sick of people having that free this person. What did he do? Killed 3 people. Fuck him. Stay in jail. I'm so sick of these people being allowed to stay in our communities and doing whatever the fuck they want. You're also Canadian. What are you doing in America with a gun? This dude to me is no different than Vitaly. He's no different than Johnny Somali. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Can we please stop protecting people who hurt us and our communities? Take that. Baby, tell me if you like it. All right.